We are live.
Welcome to Subjectively Correct, episode 23. We have a show to talk about.
Yes,
If
sir.
you
We're
missed
back.
last week's episode, it was 2 parts. We kind of just yapped about random BS all the time, and then it
Yeah.
crashed midway through. So we started watching Tito Ortiz cut an onion.
Yeah,
It's a whole thing. I'm trying to upload it to Spotify. And it keeps failing, and I think it has to do with my storage. So I'm uploading the full, like I cut it together so that it actually flows in the Spotify. It's not 2 parts. On YouTube, it's gonna stay 2 parts. But yeah, so we got Night of the Seven, a night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 1. Which we're going to talk about a little bit later. We got a couple of news things to talk about briefly. First off, I guess I should introduce my co-host. It's Jake, allegedly from the YouTube channel R&R Jake, who allegedly has a script.
I have a script finished for my Avatar video.
Yeah, you do, buddy. You're gonna
yesterday.
make a video.
Shut up. I will show you recordings when I see you on Friday. I will show you video proof that I am actually doing work on a video.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. Too bad there's nothing to look forward to this weekend except rewatching the whole Lord of the Rings
extended trilogy. Just saying, anyone out there who's near a theater that's playing,
make sure you get your Lord of the Rings tickets if they have any more. Because
go as soon as possible.
I think this is the last weekend. This one, and then they're back out.
Right?
Yeah. Because like last weekend was the first one, and then I think this weekend some theaters have showing. So
yeah,
we're going this weekend. We're watching with Corbin, who's never seen them before, and he liked FNAF 2. So either he'll really like it, or his brain is gonna explode because there's like actual characters.
Change his life because it has like character development,
plot, all that crap.
It doesn't look like garbage.
Yeah,
it has all the things that make stuff good. So
yeah,
it might explode his brain.
Yep, we'll see. So allegedly there is a video being made by Jake.
Yes, allegedly. Notorious video avoider.
Sure.
It will be long.
I was gonna do episode reviews of Night of the Seven Kingdom, but it was there wasn't a lot to talk about with the first episode, so I'm probably gonna do a mid-season one. So after the first 3, because it is a 6-episode season, it's gonna do one after the first 3.
Pretty short episodes too. They're all between 30 and 40.
And
minutes,
the book is like even shorter,
which I don't mind.
Like apparently the novella, if like they had just adapted it, you probably could have just done a movie.
Yeah, you could have done like an hour 30 hours.
They've added in stuff. Apparently, neither of us have read it, but which Jake's gonna hop on that pretty soon because
maybe I'm currently in the middle of a series, so I don't want to.
It's gonna take like 20
it
minutes.
is a short book. I get we'll see how I'm feeling.
Hey, George R. R. Martin. Oh, we probably should talk about that George interview that came out.
Yeah,
we're gonna be talking about the fat, lazy piece of trash,
piece of human waste. I don't think there's a person that I dislike. That's not true. I was gonna say that I dislike more than George R. R. Martin, but James Gunn exists.
I don't know, dude. At least James Gunn puts out the trash movies.
Yeah, but Kathleen.
Imagine
Kennedy
if James was like
Superman.
No. Whoa. Kathleen Kennedy did not have anything to do with the Acolyte. The only
she put the people in charge
only Lucasfilm creative. Actually, you know what? Sure. Well, you know what? Oh yeah, that is official now. By the way, Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down at Lucasfilm. I know it was still speculation, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad the person who was the creative control of, who had direct creative involvement was the mentor of the showrunner for the Acolyte, and was ruled over like Mandalorian season 3 and like Ahsoka and Kenobi. I'm glad that person is now out of Lucasfilm, and they are not
strongly dislikes Andor, which is regarded as the only
I'm glad that person is now out of Lucasfilm, because that was all Kathleen Kennedy. Except no, it wasn't. That's Dave Filoni who's running things. So nothing will change until all you people keep posting absolute Filoni. Guess what? It all sucks, and it's still gonna suck.
It's gonna be worse, if anything.
I don't think it'll be worse. I think it'll be the same. I think it's the stat. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy has any involvement with Star Wars.
I don't think the quality's getting any worse. I think the Dave Filoni Glup Shido stuff is gonna get worse.
The only reason I don't think so is because I don't think Kathleen Kennedy's really been doing anything since the sequel trilogy. It's basically all been. So it doesn't matter. Everything's still gonna suck. Mando and the green shit's gonna be trash, and then Starfighter has lightsaber fights
for some reason.
announcement. That was a big announcement. They put out like there are lightsaber fights in Star Wars Starfighter.
But they didn't even do that. They were just like, Tom Cruise filmed this lightsaber
That was funny.
fight. And it's like, why are there lightsaber? Cool, Tom Cruise. Yeah. Breaking news, Tom Cruise, cool. Why are there lightsaber fights?
Yes, the director of the movie is Sean Levy, who famously directed episode 7 of Stranger Things, season 5, which is, of course, the episode with the incredible writing and directing of the Will Byers epic moment, the climax of the series,
Which
and as well as a lot of Stranger Things episode,
to do.
and Deadpool and Wolverine, which, I mean, is just so culturally relevant. Everyone talks about it as one of the greatest movies of all time constantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of Star Wars projects that aren't happening that they're still acting like are happening, and the 50th anniversary is coming up, and the franchise is dead. Books will be written. Like, look, I'm not gonna sit here and be like Dave Filoni's the worst. No, he's pretty bad. He's really bad. But Kathleen Kennedy, she did kill the biggest cinematic franchise ever. Which, you know, congratulations to her. First
job,
female producer to be the executive producer on a Star Wars flop with Solo. As well as the first female producer as the executive producer over all of the other trash that's been made. So, you know, big progressive goals have been reached in Hollywood.
Go Kathleen.
And, you know, it's all trash. I got a whole video about the creative bankruptcy running right now when I did a top 5 and bottom 5, which is out. It had to get re-uploaded because YouTube is stupid, and I got hit with copyright strikes by HBO or WB, I guess, specifically, and Amazon, even though it was fair use, and I appealed them because it was fair use, and they denied the appeal. Didn't give me a reason why, so I deleted the video, re-uploaded it with all that cut out, and guess what? It like tripled in viewers in like half the amount of time. So, by the way, YouTube tells you this won't affect their videos like performance. It does. So if you ever get that copyright notice, make sure not to upload it, and then just go fix it. Still images are the only way. I hate WB and Amazon so much. They make it such a pain. The only thing I ever will respect Disney for is that when they make their trash, I can put it in my video and it causes no problems. So, you know, there's that, I guess. At least, yes, you made Captain America, Born Again,
Falcon Boogaloo,
Born Again, Ironheart, and whatever, I don't know. And it's Captain Thunderbolt's Brave Again, Captain Thunderbolt, Brave Again, Ironheart, and 4. And but at least when I talk trash about it, I can put the clip in my video. So that everyone has the full context. Whereas WB's like, dude, don't let him put the Peacemaker trailer. That show sucks. Don't let him see that.
Gatekeep, that shit doesn't exist, I swear.
No, make sure no one knows this trailer's out there.
Do not let them watch this show under any circumstance.
Which, I guess we got big news. Speaking of the JGU, we have the official... oh, and by the way, that casting of Harvey Dent. Well, it's not official. That's Harvey Dent. But Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson. It still hasn't been officially stated, but it's like Hollywood Reporter and actual sources are reporting it instead of like, you know,
Daniel RPK or
Daniel RPK, Joe Schmo Media,
James Gunn, frankly,
Instagram clickbait, Joe Schmo, whatever.
Yeah.
It is like big news outlet reporting it. Don't know who they're playing. Everyone's still saying Harvey Dent. Wouldn't shock me. The big thing is Matt Reeves has said like they haven't this villain hasn't been done before.
I think Hush would be good.
Sebastian Stan could be Hush. The other option is that it is Harvey Dent and Gilda Dent. And this would make sense with Scarlett Johansson's casting. Johansson, I don't know, however you say her name. And like it won't be Two-Face as the villain. It'll be Holiday from The Long Halloween. Because that's who the Holiday Killer is. Spoilers, I guess, for Long Halloween, by the way. But it's Gilda Dent. So that would be like the big twist, and it would make sense why such a prominent actress is playing Harvey Dent's wife. Because she is the main villain. That wouldn't shock me. Also, Hush, and I don't know who Scarlett's playing, somebody else, but Hush wouldn't shock me either. I think it's kind of between those two. I don't know. But that's not the only Batman movie being made, because the writer is being reported for who's writing the script for Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Jake, they've worked on 3 projects for DC. 2 of them have come out. 1 got cut, and the quote from DC was, it was so bad that it was unreleasable from WB. That was so they've written 3 things. What 3 projects do you think they were?
Okay, are they DCEU, I assume? All 3?
It is not JGU. Yes, they have not. She has not written anything for the JGU.
All 3. Is there anything decent on that list?
In fairness, no one's seen one of them. So
Well,
maybe
I mean the other 2. I'm gonna guess Flash.
Yes.
Um,
There's no world in which you get the second one. I want to see what you say because I don't even know if people know this movie came out.
is it live action?
Yes. So you got the first one. You got the Flash.
Wonder Woman 1984.
Nope. Even more niche.
Even more niche?
Yes, because I guarantee like no one remembers this movie exists.
Live action.
It was out for like a few months before I even realized it actually released, and I watched it. But
Was it a movie? A DCEU movie?
yeah, it was a post-Snyder pre.
Aquaman 2?
No, even more niche.
Oh my god, what is it?
Birds of Prey.
Oh,
and the fabulous
yes.
emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yes, I forgot that existed.
Yes, so Christina Hodson is the reported writer for Batman the Brave and the Bold. This is according to Screen Time. No official big trades yet, so take it with a grain of salt as usual. But this would pretty much line up. She wrote James Gunn's favorite superhero movie of all time. According to him, The Flash. Also one of the worst Batman. A movie so incredible that it made Michael Keaton's Batman draw no attention.
Also,
as well as Birds of Prey, the movie that ruined Black Mask and every other character in it. And then also it is worth noting.
No,
hold on, real quick though. It is also worth noting that Christina Hodson wrote the screenplay of Batgirl, which according to WB was so bad that it was unreleasable. And that's coming from everything JGU.
Yeah.
Which I'd guess if we scrolled, there was a video. There's probably a clip of him talking about how much he loves Supergirl. Yeah, see, look, he loves Supergirl Funko Pops.
Yeah. Also, I would like to note the picture they chose for Brave and the Bold. In that, I don't know if this actually matters at all, but that was Damian Wayne.
I believe it is Damian Wayne.
That's Damian Wayne. So,
well, I think Damian Wayne is Brave and the Bold.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is if they choose to introduce a Batman who already has Damian Wayne, there's a lot of stuff that's already happened that they're probably just not going to address at all, but still say it exists. Like,
well,
they're going to reference Nightwing. They're going to throw out a Red Hood reference most likely.
Well, they're supposed to do that dynamic duo show or whatever, which is Red Hood and Nightwing, I thought.
That would be cool in a world where they were established and cast well and written well, which they won't be. It would be a cool comic, which it is. But
also, it's supposed to come out in 2028, so not happening.
Oh, so it's just not.
But I will also point out you're kind of thinking wrong here because every Batman story has been told and it's on the verge of becoming boring. Which, you know, personally, as a massive Batman fan, I fully agree with that sentiment. That is, of course, said by WB/DC CEO. He's not the WB CEO. That's said by DC CEO James Gunn. Deciding to go out and say that, yeah, hey, you know our most popular superhero? Yeah, he's actually pretty boring.
Yeah, it's pretty boring. We've already done.
That's an actual quote, by the way. I didn't make that up. I know I am a James Gunn hater. That's the kind of stuff why. If you're the head of DC, you should be like, there's so many awesome Batman stories and comics we haven't told because no one's even tried a comic accurate Batman. No, instead you come out and say, well, basically every Batman story's been told and it's on the verge of becoming boring.
It's like, do you know what Batman is? You can do
a comic accurate Batman.
Insanely compelling stuff with Batman easily.
Every single Batman movie that's come out, except maybe I mean, you have to go back. Every Batman thing that's come out has been an original story essentially, with like elements pulled from
Yeah,
some comic.
yeah. It's not been like just a straight up adaptation of the
Batman.
run. Yeah,
The closest that you can even have would be like Ben Affleck's Batman. He almost looks like a comic accurate Batman.
yeah. But then none of the story elements are anything from anything.
Well, yeah, then the movies suck, but
Yeah, he
we're
looks
Snyder Bros.
bigger. It's like the
But we're
closest.
Snyder Bros.
Yeah, we're Snyder Bros. Though.
Yeah,
I love when Batman guns
shoots
people
people
down.
because of Martha.
Right. He doesn't kill Superman because he randomly decides to say his mother's name to a stranger he doesn't know, but he also murders people.
Yeah. Okay, but like, let's be real. Brave and the Bold's not even happening.
No, it's never gonna come out.
So the Batman 2 comes out in 2027. Brave and the Bold, I don't even
Will
think it's gonna
not
start
ever come
filming
out.
until then, if they do film at all. But like, look, I don't like the chances James Gunn has a job after what's gonna happen with Supergirl,
No
and then
chance.
after the Batman Part 2 outperforms Man of Tomorrow, are very low.
Yeah.
He could do the thing where they just greenlight as many projects as they can, and then hope that people get excited enough that he keeps his job. Not likely, but
Doubt it. Yeah,
Netflix loves to make horrible decisions.
that's true. But I mean,
Not as
Warner Brothers
not as
was
horrible
like,
as WB, but
WB is like the king of making horrible financial decisions. So that's the only reason James Gunn had a job for as long as he did, with no creative oversight.
he's been the CEO for like I think 4 years.
Yeah,
3 years.
because it was like what, a year and a half, 2 years where
Hold on.
nothing actually came out.
When was James Gunn announced? It was right after. It was in December of 2022 or November of 2022. I think it was November. So, let's see. It's been 3 years.
3.5.
So, yeah,
three and
what's come out?
like
What's
2
come out
months.
since then? Creature Commandos, which was forgotten.
Yep. Actually, I remember that it happened. So.
Oh yeah,
it's not
sorry. It
forgotten.
was remembered by all 300 people who watched it on YouTube.
There you go.
And
That's
then,
better.
and then
Put
it
some respect
was,
on the 300 that liked it.
and then, well, I don't even know if they liked it. They might have turned
That's
it
true.
on and
That
fallen
watched-
asleep because it was so stupid. Okay, and then after that was Superman, which the full script is out. Which not a great plan because it proves that you
Not a-
actually wrote that, and it wasn't all just made up on the spot, which you would
is
assume based on the story.
Way worse.
But James Gunn did actually tweet out the full screenplay of Superman, which, by the way, I wish that was a normal thing. I do like that. I should be able to just get the script from a movie.
Yeah.
That
it's
way,
cool.
if a movie that was good, I could look at that one.
And then also, like, really great movies, you can see how thorough their script is. And really bad movies,
Or you get the cool
you see
scenario
how
like,
horrible it is.
like with Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like what Leo and like the FBI agent on the boat did was completely different from what was actually in the script, but it makes it cooler.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? After that, they made what? Peacemaker season 2? Is that the only 3 JGU projects out?
Yeah.
And it's been 3 years.
But we're going to get Supergirl.
Okay, so from 2008 to 2011, Marvel made Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor, maybe?
And then the first Avenger shortly thereafter.
That was the next year. So
Yeah.
that's the Supergirl and Lanterns is Captain America, the First Avenger, and Avengers. That's the equivalent
Pretty
there.
comparable track there. I mean,
Yeah.
DCU's way better than Marvel.
Yeah,
was
we
at this
got
point.
Superman, and that's it for the Justice League so far. After 3 years.
We have the Justice Gang, though. So
After 3 years of the JGU, we got Superman.
Justice
Super-
Gang.
That's a cool name.
They also have, 300 years of metahumans
that's
and
true.
not a single metahuman
Yet
related
we
law.
arrest fish people because they look like fish people. And for whatever reason, you put rabid weasels that supposedly light fires that kill 30 children in prison with humans instead of
Killing them.
killing it like you would
An
with any animal that lights a fire and kills 30 children.
Or bites a kid. Like
Also true, but
like
like
a dog
I'm
that bites
even
a kid
more
is like,
extreme.
sorry, you got to put your dog down. You have like a genetically modified weasel that set a fire that killed 30 kids, and you just don't put it down.
Literally ruins a great joke from the Suicide Squad where they're like, "That's Weasel. He ate 30 children." It's like, oh, like, that was a great
Oh,
joke in the Suicide Squad, and then Creature Commanders are like, "No, he's actually misunderstood.
it's like he
I'm like,
could
no, he's
just
not.
be
He's a weasel.
evil, bro. Like he's an animal. It doesn't
He's a
matter.
weasel."
There was
Yes,
no
the
point in the
universe.
Suicide Squad where it's like, they really shouldn't be working with that weasel guy. He's real bad. He ate a bunch of kids.
Kind of the point. They're supposed to be bad guys.
Exactly.
Just a reminder, like the Harley Quinn that Weasel was working with, like murdered the crap out of Robin.
Yeah, she
They're not
killed
good
him.
people. They're specifically bad people. Like the only quote unquote good person was like they tried to make Deadshot a good person in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like literally all of them were like just bad people. That was literally the whole point.
Yeah. Even like the ones that are like in their mind trying to do good stuff aren't like good people.
Yeah, and it's not like King Shark, which is like the only comic you could be like, well, they didn't put King Shark down. That's because he had legs and he talks.
Yeah, it's 'cause he's sentient.
Weasel literally is an animal. He just walks on two legs sometimes.
Yeah.
In Creature Commanders, he was crawling. He wasn't even walking. Like the show is so dumb that it's technically part of this universe. It's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. It's so stupid. Like not actually like in the script, but just like in the sense of this is supposed to also be in a real universe
Yeah.
where all these other movies are happening. Like it very much feels like it could work as its own standalone animated show. It does not work in the same world where the Suicide Squad happens and all that other crap happens.
Yeah.
Technically, Batman is in it though. He has one frame, so that was cool. So technically, Batman's canon.
Batman's in the DCU.
Yeah, can't wait for the JGU to come to a close. I don't know.
You're telling me Superman, who can fly to Antarctica in like a crisp 2 minutes, isn't just
3 minutes specifically.
3 minutes.
He lost his first battle 3 minutes before.
I'm just saying that was while like fully injured, so I'm saying a healthy, fresh Superman could probably make it in 2. Is it taking the 10-second quick old flight over to Gotham to figure out what's going on with Batman? But he exists?
Well, I mean,
if there's a rumor that Batman exists, Superman's going to fly over there.
I'm going to defend that a bit. Maybe technically so Batman's already been well established in the JGU. It's like 'cause it's going to be older. It's going to be Brave and the Bold, which means we're far later into Batman. Far later than Superman. So that would have been around for 6 years. Let's be nice and call it year 9. So let's say Batman's been around for 6 years by the time Superman's starting.
Mm-hmm.
In those 3 years, does he fly over? Maybe. I mean, now I'm going to go to comics, so this isn't like actually what happens. This is kind of like I'm going to use general comics knowledge as to why I can defend that, even though I know it's not written. So you can't just go, well, in the comics, this happens. This is more of a meta thing. That's like, they don't really need to explain this. Well, at some point they should, but it could be what it is. They kind of leave Batman alone. Batman very much is like Gotham's mine. I'll deal with it. Don't come over here.
Yeah, which would make sense after you could have just one single interaction and then they could never go there again.
But it could have happened. Like,
I agree.
Because Batman's
also,
been around.
I'm saying also say they have this established Batman. Superman has this world-ending conflict coming up, and he doesn't fly over for 30 seconds. And all the time that he's sitting on his ass at home in Kansas, he doesn't fly over to ask Batman for help.
Okay, but by then
doesn't make sense either.
Hold on, you're making I hate you. You're making me defend the JGU Superman. By then, Mr. Terrific had came to his house and was like, there's a black hole. It's splitting. You have to come straight to Metropolis to stop that.
Counterpoint, all the time they spend sitting around just watching, he could have spent literally 30 seconds. No,
you're forgetting though. So he was sad.
He could have gotten Batman in 30 seconds.
But he was sad though. Well, okay, what's Batman gonna do with the world splitting though? He doesn't have prep time. That would have been real quick.
No. I'm not saying Batman can physically fight anything that's happening. He can't. But I'm saying Batman could have taken care of some of the tech stuff with Lex Luthor while they fought the physical battle.
Dude, I hate you. Quit making me defend this terrible movie.
No. But Mr. Terrific was fighting too. He didn't go in actually like where Lex was. He could have gone there by himself, but they chose not to. He didn't go and actually physically do anything to Lex's tech until after Superman went to Lex. I
Yes,
don't know
but
why. It doesn't make sense. Superman could have been fighting Ultraman and them. Since they know he and the engineer are being controlled by Lex, they should have sent Mr. Terrific to go take out Lex and all the other people there.
yes, in which
Why
case they
didn't
wouldn't need
they?
Batman
No
anyway.
reason.
They wouldn't need Batman doesn't fit. Like, I get the
I'm
point
just
you're
saying, why
making.
wouldn't they get Batman
doesn't
to help?
fit? Because I'm like genuinely they don't need him. Because you're right. Because Mr. Terrific should go there, so they don't need Batman for that. Mr. Terrific could do that.
I just mean
then
in
you
a
obviously
world
can't fight.
where Mr. Terrific is doing whatever in the meantime while Superman's fighting and not going to Mr. Terrific or going to stop Lex, maybe Batman could do something in that amount of time. I don't know. Or he could call him. He doesn't have to fly to Gotham. He could go, oh, hey, Batman, help. Or Batman would see the news of a black hole ripping the city in half and go, huh, I should do something about that.
He's not gonna get out there in time though.
Maybe not.
It was over in like 20 seconds.
Maybe not. He could rip a little bat satellite, do some
Well, he was
hacking.
probably
I
prep
don't know.
timing. He was probably prepped. He was probably prepping. He was like, I gotta fight this thing when it makes it to Gotham. So I gotta get my black hole removed.
I gotta get my buff. It's just Adam West like, good thing I have my bat black hole closer spray.
You know, but yeah, I
Sorry, didn't
hate
mean
that
to
you
go
just
on
made
a
me- I hate that
Superman
you just
rant
made me
there, but-
defend the JGU Superman. I'm genuinely so frustrated with you right now that you made me do that. But
No, that's
Yeah.
fair. That was just a thing that made me angry because if it's an
Yeah.
established Batman,
I don't.
that would be even more reason that there would be legal precedent.
The
for
only
meta
reason I
humans
wouldn't
and
say though
stuff
is
like
because
that.
it's not the Justice League's not a thing. So Batman would be very closed off to Gotham. Also, he's probably sleeping. It's the middle of the day.
That's fair.
You know, it all happens so fast.
That's true.
So, you know, I'm just saying, I think you can complain about basically everything in Superman. That's there. You've unfortunately found the one thing that I have to defend it on. So,
That's fair.
oh my gosh, bro, I can't. So, I don't even know what to say. Whatever. Let's just go straight to Netflix. So I watched this movie on Netflix that came out called The Rip. Oh, whoops, there goes my camera. That's so it's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. You know, hey, we were just talking about Ben Affleck. Oh, transition or something. The movie, it's got your boy in it. It's got Invincible in it. That
Steven
guy.
Yeun.
Yes.
Tough.
Look, it's a very Netflix movie. It's based on true events, and by that, so the basic idea of the movie is they're like narcotics cops or something, and they go to a house to rip a money, like there's a money drop, and they call it a rip. That's why it's called the rip. That's what the term is, I guess. And so they go to the house, and it's like it's like $20 million, which is like that's a crazy amount of rips. So they're trying to make you think, and someone's obviously on the inside trying to work to steal the rip. And they try to make you think it's Matt Damon, but it's really not. His whole plan all along was that they knew it was the other guy. It says based on a true event, and by my guess is by that it means one time someone found some money in a house one time.
Yeah. There was
That's
a rip
probably
with money in
the
a house.
extent. That's probably the extent to what it was based on a true story. It's like the most Netflix thing ever. It's got a cartoonishly diverse cast of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and then two diverse women, and then Steven, what's his last name?
Steven Yeun.
Steven Yeun,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I thought
I
it was
don't know how
Simu
to say
Liu
it.
for a second.
Oh.
It wasn't. And then I read, I was like, oh wait, that's Invincible. That's that guy.
Yeah, no, Steven
Other
Yeun has
famous
that
show
like
famous show
crappy-
that I
or
like.
Simu Liu has that like crappy looking Hulu or Peacock show.
I don't know, bro. I don't think Simu Liu does it. I think that guy is.
No,
AI.
I just saw the, I saw the previews for it and I was like, that's real? This is what old people watch in the middle of the day. It's that kind of TV.
I don't even see anything. The
It's like all
Copenhagen
the
test.
yeah, that. It looks horrible. We should watch the trailer.
No.
It's like the bro.
I'm good.
It makes me think of the like
Hold on,
the,
bro, can I-
the 118 brace for impact memes. And it's like somebody's somebody's aunt going crazy about this right now. At
911.
3 p.m.
That's the greatest trailer ever. That 911 trailer.
Bro, the one where they like jump into the water to pull the guy out of the whale.
118 brace for impact. All right. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, the movie. So
Anyway.
The movie's getting a lot of pop because it's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Whoa, they're awesome. Yeah, I like them enough. I don't know.
I
It's a
like
fun
both of them.
dynamic. I guess that's like I don't know. I'll say that. And then, but it's like so. There's the two diverse women. There's our boy Steve, and he's not connected to us. I guess I shouldn't say our boy.
Our boy,
No.
he's just like a voice actor I like.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate the one show he's a voice actor in. So, anyway, it's got Steve in it, and so it's like someone's the inside guy. Is it these? Is it? You know, it's Netflix, so you know it's not the diverse women. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, I know it's not Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, so it's probably Steve. Sure enough, it's Steve. But it's so predictable, and they flash back to the opening scene every like 4 minutes, dude, because it's Netflix. And then Matt Damon and Ben Affleck went on Joe Rogan, and they talked about it. And they said Netflix explains you have to reiterate the plot 3 to 4 times, dialogue, because people on their phones. Now, for some reason, this is like blowing people's mind. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is why everything sucks." I thought this was just like common knowledge.
Yeah, no, I thought it was common knowledge, but evidently it's
Yeah,
not.
Netflix is like their main business model is secondary viewing, where like you're on your phone and you can't miss a thing. It's they make TikTok movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, the movie was trash. Like I wouldn't say it's trash. It was very whatever. It's very whatever. It's like the kind of movie you put on Netflix and then you'll do something else.
You put it on a Netflix while you clean or do something.
Exactly. It's I wouldn't be like, bro, you gotta watch The Rip. It's crazy, bro. No, it's
Like if you
extremely mad.
need noise to listen to, you can turn it on.
Bro, they flashback the opening scene, the big chief lady dies, and that's like the big thing in the movie. She's dead now. And then they flash back to that scene 30 times. They're like, remember when she died? And I'm
She's
like, yeah,
dead,
it was
by the
2
way.
hours ago. Because like it's supposed to be like a who done it almost, but they give it away because they need to make sure people who've been paying attention picked up on the clues.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple times you're like, okay, maybe it is Matt Damon, but they really make it clear to you. It's like, even if it wasn't Netflix, or I know it's not gonna be the diverse women, and probably not the two main characters, so it's probably just the third other guy who's like a pretty popular actor. It's like even with that, I would have pieced together pretty quickly because they're like, it's just they make it obvious. They just reiterate everything 3 to 4 times, like Matt Damon said. That's just what they've always done, though. Like that's why Stranger Things they explain something every 3 minutes. It's secondary viewing.
Yeah.
All right, we done with
This is the plot of the movie. And this is us. And it's bad. Stranger Things.
Oh, that was the other thing I guess that came out was the behind the scenes. That Stranger Things behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
and it's literally just the actors like, hey, could I do something with my character in this scene? The Duffer Brothers are like, I don't.
Well, they found the
you
Chat
could,
GPT
I
thing.
guess. I don't
They found
know.
everyone's like saying like they found Chat GPT. I'm almost pretty certain they didn't use Chat GPT to write it.
No,
I
it
think
would have had a
ChatGPT
decent
would have
plot.
made it smarter.
Yeah,
My
the
guess is they were
rewritten Superman we
summarizing
made
stuff.
with ChatGPT was pretty fire, actually.
That was with Grok, I think, but
Oh, that was Grok. But still.
yeah, like it would have been far simpler. My guess is they were using it to either A, as quick research, or B, like, here's a jumble of thoughts. Can you help me word this into sentences or something? The thing that everyone else is getting shocked by is like they're like, there's clips of them going, yeah, we don't have a finished script yet, so we're just gonna wing it. And everyone's like, what? No wonder it sucked. And I was like,
You
again, I
couldn't
thought
tell?
this was known. It's like when Doomsday is gonna come out and suck, and then there's a behind the scenes, and the Russo brothers are like, bro, we literally like are just
We're making it
stuff
up
as we
right
go.
now.
People are gonna be like, what? Like, no, Marvel hasn't had a finished script since like Iron Man 2. It's pretty far back was like the last time they actually had a finished script that they shot, and they still do a million reshoots. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Dude. It's like whatever, cool, sure, dude. Yeah, it's big shock they had an unfinished script.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paramount gave them hundreds of millions of dollars, by the way.
What are
And
they
let
even
Taylor
gonna
Sheridan
make?
walk.
What are they even gonna make? That's what I don't
They let-
understand.
Bro, they need to start listening to Creepcast on YouTube and just steal some good stories from there.
That's not ridiculous.
Well, like Stranger Things damn near feels like just a really like the first season, I guess I say, just feels like a very good episode of Creepcast from one of the r/no sleep stories. Like to be honest, that's it. There's a story on there called Left Right Game that is like a very weird story, but it's like really good. That would be interesting. I want someone to make a series on that. That would be really good. But that's the thing is they're doing horror. There are so many people who like write horror stuff for free on the internet. Either steal it straight up or get credit. And actually make the thing. That would be what I would do if I was them and everyone's like, dude, we cannot write. We don't know how to write, dude.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shit,
I just
my wife wrote that. I don't know.
Well, one of them got divorced maybe through, so people were
Yeah.
like, that's why it sucks. But then it's also like, what if they were happier? Like they got divorced, they were just way happier with themselves after that. So that almost could have a positive effect. There's the joke, why is divorce so expensive? Well, it's because it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about something good. At least I thought it was good.
I enjoyed it.
And that's 9 to 7 Kingdoms.
I only had a handful of things that I didn't like,
Real
and
quick.
they were all small.
Yeah, hold on, pause real quick before we say too much. We're not gonna do spoilers yet. We'll get in those in a second. There's not that much to spoil.
Not much.
But
it was just an establishing episode. Really.
yeah, real quick, full context of what's happening. I literally have not read a single Fat George book. I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I haven't watched House of the Dragon. This single episode of A Night of Seven Kingdoms, 40-minute episode, is the only Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire thing I've ever seen. I recognize names. I don't really know context of names. I don't know any of that. That is my full. This is my introduction to. It's Westeros, right? That's like the.
I have seen all of Game of Thrones. I've read part of it, and then I quit because George is the worst person of all time, and he's never going to finish the series.
Have you read all the way up to date on A Song of Ice and Fire? You're all the way up to whatever the last song was or the last one that came out in A Song of Ice and Fire?
Oh, no. I read the first book, and then I stopped. Because I didn't know. I didn't know. I knew it wasn't finished, but I thought I didn't know.
Thought he was working on it.
I didn't know all the George lore, and I saw like one thing of him talking about finishing it, but I didn't have any of the context. So I read the first book, and I was like, oh, I really like that, and went to look at the other stuff because I was like, well, by the time I'm done reading all of these, the whole series will be done, and then I was like, oh. He's the worst person ever. And then there was a couple scenes
also just
in
for
particular
clarification,
where
Hitler
I was
is
like,
bad. We are
no, Hitler's worse. But George,
he's using hyperbole. Just got to clarify that for any of the gun bros out there.
Just saying,
any of the George bros.
He never wrote a really cool series and didn't finish it, leading to a horrible HBO series ending. I'm just saying George did that.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Mein Kampf was finished.
He finished the book. That's all I'm saying. He finished his
joke,
project.
By the way, that's a joke. Hitler obviously worse.
He's
than George
obviously
R. R.
worse than George R. R. Martin. He's just a fat, lazy piece of crap. He's not actually evil, but he just really likes feasts and orgies and not finishing books. Those are the three things that get him going.
Yeah,
preferably orgies with siblings and relatives. But anyway, let's get
preferably
into the
for George's mind. Jake does not prefer.
I don't like that. George does. That's not me.
Yeah. Look. Okay. I literally only know about George,
and I know George had a heavy hand in the show. I know he was involved producing and stuff.
So season I believe 1 through 4 of Game of Thrones he was directly involved with, which those are a lot of people. That's the 4 greatest seasons of television ever.
It's in the top 10 for me. I think probably
top 10. Is it
shows not seasons ever, but top 10 shows.
Yeah.
The first 4 are probably.
He leaves. I know there's good stuff in season 5. This is all hearsay again. Jake can obviously attest to whatever he wants. There's good stuff in season 5. Season 6 starting to go downhill. Season 7's bad. Season 8's the worst.
Yes.
And then also it was first 4 seasons he was showrunners. These are the greatest people ever. And then all of a sudden he's they suck. I hate them. And the show gets worse, in fairness to him. Then I know that they made House of the Dragon, and he was directly involved with season 1 and 2. And now he's that guy sucks. Worst person ever, the showrunner. He's a big fan of that Austrian guy we were just talking about. Hate him so much. I'm leaving. And And then now he's like Knight of Seven Kingdoms showrunner. This guy's the best. He's the greatest. I'm just saying, after we get a season or two, I'm sure we'll be hearing about how much of a terrorist that guy is as well.
Most likely.
There's a consistent trend here. It also happens to be the guy who calls the A Song of Ice and Fire books the curse of his life, or Winds of Winter, whatever he refers to it as, like the curse of his life.
Yes,
Look,
that's
the
who
one
you're
thing he
giving
admits.
money to.
The one thing he admits is he has an ego, which is probably right because George R. R. Martin's favorite person is George R. R. Martin. Yeah, look, I don't know what's gonna happen. He's claiming he has 1,100 pages written. I believe that was the number he said 5 years ago as well. Actually, 7 years ago, probably. And I've heard a great point on this. It's like, okay, imagine you made a video, Jake. This Avatar video you're working on. Imagine you started it after the first movie. Again, like say you're the same age. You've been the same age for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And you started this based on the first movie. And it's like it's 11 hours. You edited hour 1 back in 2009. And then you came back to it today. You're going to obviously be like, "Oh, I got to redo this whole thing."
Yeah.
So even if he was going to finish it, it's almost to a point of like, he
It's
wrote
not
this
gonna be
chapter.
the same thing.
He wrote the book he started 14 years ago. You know, there's a chapter in there he hasn't touched in 14 years.
Yeah.
Also, I believe in this big interview he did, he spoiled Jon Snow's alive. Which was a cliffhanger.
That was one of the big cliffhangers. It was fairly it was pretty likely that he was going to come back.
But he confirmed it.
He does
basically.
in the show, but it wasn't known if he would in the books or not. But he confirmed.
He basically was like, he was like, if I get bored of writing this one chapter, I'll switch over to, I'll open the last chapter I was working on. I'll say, oh, this is not very good, and I'll go and rewrite it, or I'll decide this Tyrion chapter is coming along. Let me write a Jon Snow chapter. So basically confirming Jon Snow is in fact alive, which that was like a big cliffhanger to my understanding.
It's like he forgot. I don't think he even knows that was a spoiler. I don't think he remembers where he actually left the series as far as what's published and out. I don't think he remembers.
And again, I think that the common theory is right of like most of what was in season 8 was probably his like rough outline, and then it was so bad he was like, oh. And now he's just like, and he started, and then he's kind of like, I don't really want to finish this, so he's not going to. And again, I'm gonna be honest, I think he's fully able to do that. The only thing that annoys me, and this is somebody who's never read and honestly read his books, and doesn't care. Honestly, I mean, I think it'd be cool if it gets finished. If he finishes it, then I would actually probably go back and read them because I'm like, it's gonna be a big event if Winds came out. It won't, but if it did, that'd be like that's a big thing. That's
and keep in mind, Winds isn't finishing the series.
I'm aware.
Spring is finishing the series.
But I think if he finished Winds, I feel like if he actually did somehow finish Winds, I would actually think he'd probably he might gotta get the last one out. Now again, whether he would die before he finished, it's a whole other thing. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's like I literally am only annoyed at him because I'm like, I know how popular his stuff is, and it's like he's got fans who put him up there. Like, so I don't even think he needs to finish it. He just got to tell them the truth. He just got to say the truth and be like, I don't want to finish it. I don't know how to finish it, so I'm not gonna finish it. Sorry. You know, everyone will be mad at him for a little bit, and then I think everyone will kind of forget. And all the lore YouTube channels out there, they'll be happy because they can keep doing their theory videos and like how it would have gone video and like stuff like that, and they'll get to keep their jobs for like the end of time because they're still kicking out there.
Oh yeah, they're still going.
Yeah,
and they're making way better stuff than he ever did.
I mean, similar strangers.
I've seen some of them, and I'm like, yo, this is fire. They should make this.
But yeah, like I think I don't like him because he really, I think I was fully out. Like before I even really knew that much about him, I was fully out when I heard that like at COVID, he was like, he didn't even make progress during COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he could not write during COVID. I don't know what he was doing all day.
Feast?
He was living in a cabin alone.
Yeah.
like it's kind of like the whole thing. Anyway, a very unique story he has is the Hedge Knight, which is what A Knight of Seven Kingdoms is based on. It's Dunk and Egg. are the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big twist about Egg. Well, we won't say anything yet because we're not in the spoiler section yet. Um, and then what was I even saying? Oh yeah, completely different than everything else he's wrote. He's wrote 3 books so far. Fair warning, for anyone who's like Game of Thrones, I'm not watching another Game of Thrones thing until I know it's gonna end good. Fair warning, also not finished. Neither is House of the Dragon. The books these stuff is based on, none of it's finished. He's never finished a book series. Okay, so very early premature fair warning. The Hedge Knight series is completely unfinished still. George R. R. Martin said he's going to write 10 more stories. Sure, bro. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I really agree.
Yeah.
I really believe you are gonna follow through on whatever you say.
Yeah. He's claimed there's 10 more stories out there that he's writing. He's going to start working on for Duncan Egg. Um, so, you know,
I'm sure he will.
yeah. Um, okay. So before we go, kind of just scene by scene here, quick thoughts, Jake, as someone who's seen all. You haven't watched House of the Dragon, right? Have you?
I watched season 1, and
Okay.
I thought there were good parts and a lot of bad parts. I didn't love it, and I stopped watching it.
Okay. Cool. So, as someone who's seen all of Game of Thrones and the first season of House of the Dragon, what were your thoughts so far on episode 1 of Night Seven Kingdom? Loosely, no spoilers.
Um, I I have enjoyed it so far. I think it's gonna be a much it's a much smaller story. Um, there's still going to be, big houses involved in the story, but it's going to be on a much smaller scale of like one person or a handful of people instead of like this continent wide thing. I enjoyed it so far. I think the main actors that we've been introduced to so far in episode 1 are all solid, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well they can do in the future. I think the castings look pretty well. Sir Duncan the Tall is tall and big and strong, so that's a pro. They didn't cast like a short guy and do like
He's not a black. He's not a black woman.
he was metaphorically tall. They said tall because he lived big and tall. They didn't do some goofy garbage like that. Like he's just tall.
Yeah, we're at a point where we're like, it's pretty cool. The guy who's described as tall is tall. He's not a black woman, so
yeah, he's not a black female dwarf. So another big win for casting. But yeah, no, I enjoyed episode 1. It was mostly just establishing a couple characters, the general setting of where we're at, and the general plot of what's going to be happening. It seems to me like it's gonna be a pretty simple hero's journey type arc, which I like because it's a simple, good story arc to follow. And I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the way it was shot. I enjoyed just how it was shot. It looked good. Score is good so far. It's just pretty solid thus far.
Yeah, all right. I thought it was pretty decent. I wasn't. They probably should have done more than one episode. Was my main thought when I was watching as the first release of like,
just
not a lot happens here to hook people.
Not much happens.
This maybe should have been an all at once thing. I don't know. But I was like, I watched it and I was like, as someone had zero context of any, literally like no context of anything. I was like, you know what? Seems interesting. I don't know. I really don't know anything about this stuff. I know mostly like George R. R. Martin is very like anti. It's not the heroes always win kind of thing. It's not nihilistic because it's not nihilistic, but it's
supposed to be more realistic in a sense that like
the hobbits don't make it to Mordor. The hobbits get raped by the orcs.
Yeah,
and turned into a feast.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of
fairly accurate.
And Aragorn will fight valiantly and then die, but ultimately the heroes lose. That's kind of my understanding of like that's more of what he writes. So the Hedge Knight is it's a underdog rags to riches story is my guess, and based on what I know. I thought it was pretty good. The only thing that was kind of like there's only one thing where I was kind of like, well, I'm not sure about that, and that was that I don't know the guy who plays Duncan looks like he's 30.
Yeah.
Like, late 20s, early 30s, which is like a little too old. Like he's probably like 18, 19. Like he's
Yeah.
a squire. Like he should be young, and so that'd be the only thing I was kind of like. Other than that, though,
I could understand him being an older squire just because of how old his like mentor was. Um, but you would also think if he was like getting to that age, he would have been publicly knighted and not like knighted
yeah.
as he was, dying.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And then Ireland looks beautiful. That's where this was shot. Looks
Mm-hmm.
great. One thing I is kind of noticeable about that though, and I know this, and this isn't like a criticism of the show. This is just like kind of interesting to me. It's like, because my only good like fantasy comparison is Lord of the Rings. It's one that's always fresh in my head. It's like Lord of the Rings is very mythology. This feels more almost historical, which is unique, which is kind of unique considering Tolkien does write his like history, but it's like that feels mythological, whereas this feels medieval, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
You
yes,
know, it
that makes
is,
perfect sense.
and that's more the impression I get. I feel like I'm watching, the United Kingdom in the medieval age as opposed to a completely different world,
Yeah,
like Middle Earth is. Which I know
that makes sense.
that's not a criticism. That's just like something I noticed about it. That was kind of like, I'm not watching it. I don't feel like I'm watching a cheap copy of a Lord of the Rings story. I'm not, I'm watching its own thing. It's unique in a way. I feel like I'm watching a medieval story, which I guess is good.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, I thought there's not really. I think they did a good job establishing stuff. I thought there was a lot of decent character work. A lot of people aren't talking more in depth about it because a lot of people just have more context to it, and I feel like me having no context actually because I know that's something I've known people have said is kind of like, I don't know how hooked the normal fans can be. To me, like, and I'm not the normal fan because most of the normal fan has seen Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. I literally have seen none of it. So to me, this is just like it's I can tell it's gonna be like a pretty decent hero story. This isn't something that it's probably not something that would get made if Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon did exist and weren't popular. It wouldn't be made. But to me, it's almost like this is probably the only Westeros story that I'm gonna watch and be like, I love this fully because it's a good old hero story. We need good hero. And I think there's a lot of good character work in here. A lot of great acting. The dude from The Gentleman who plays some character whose name is
Uh,
like Barath something.
Baratheon.
It's Baratheon,
I
yes.
forget what his
He's
first
great.
name
Like
is.
bro, he was good in the show. He's great in The Gentleman. He's also in the Marvels, by the way.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but he was incredible. The Gentleman. He was really good in this. Are Baratheons supposed to be tall? Is that a thing?
um,
Because I heard a criticism saying, he's a little short, but other than that, like he's a little small.
he's a little
But other than
small
that,
for a Baratheon. They're typically like big dudes, but
yeah.
this
Other than
is
that,
one
I didn't.
that is
Again, this is something
less.
having no context.
This is also like a less vividly described character than like Robert Baratheon, who in Game of Thrones is like damn near a giant and he's enormous. He crushes
Yeah.
people with his warhammer, and then in the show he's just like a fat old
And again,
guy.
that's something where me having literally no context is like, it's like that kind of helps me. It's like to me, it's just he's doing a really good job of acting. I'm not sitting here like, well, he could be a little taller.
Yeah.
He could be a little bit bigger. To me, I'm just like, this is good acting from Daniel something. I can't remember his full
Yeah,
name.
no,
But
his acting was I liked it. He sold I think the mannerisms of a Baratheon he sold very well.
yeah. I think Duncan comes off as very likable, or Dunk. It is. He's not Duncan until the end, and when Egg gives him the idea to change his name, probably to something that sounds less cringe.
Yeah.
But Dunk is very likable. He's like a fool. He almost,
He's like a simple, good-hearted
he's like a golden
person.
retriever. Like he thinks everything is. He thinks everything is better than. Like he can't comprehend why someone would be like why they're mean. Like that's what happens in the show. He can't. He's like. It doesn't compute them, which is nice, and I know that is a change of pace from for a Westeros kind of story. But
even Westeros, like the characters that are more like that lawful good moral, like your Ned Stark, your Jon Snow, even they are like more grim about it, whereas Dunk is just like,
yes, I very much like that about the character,
outlook, which I like.
I very much like that about the character so far. And I mean there were a lot of people said there was a lot of filler. I didn't really get the impression of filler, but I also don't know what would having literally no context to the story, I don't really know what could be filler yet. I think in a couple
Yeah.
episodes we can find out that was filler. That wasn't, and it doesn't shock me that there's filler. My understanding of the novella is there's like almost no dialogue. It's basically all like Dunk's thoughts.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of transition that to dialogue. I've heard the dialogue; a lot of it's just right off the page, which is cool. And then they also have to stretch it out because it's a small story and they're doing a series. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought overall, I was like, I watched it and I wasn't like, this is the greatest thing ever, but I was like, "Yeah, I'm hooked. I'll tune in next week. I'll see what episode 2 is about, which I was just going to anyway. But like, it wasn't like it's not like Peacemaker. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch that now. It's like this one, I was like, all right, I'll probably watch it again Sunday night instead of waiting until Wednesday morning, until
Yeah.
this morning, or to
Yeah.
like late Tuesday when we're gonna sleep. So yeah, I mean, do you want to go? You want to go plot by
Yeah.
plot point
I'll
here? Do you have
pop up.
any
I'll
other
pop up
last thoughts
spoilers.
here?
Not really. We can get into the start of it.
Cool. So it does open. It's a nice rainy scene here, and Dunk is burying his knight, his sir, which is spelled SER, which was like I was sitting there mad confused. I was sitting there because I guess that's
It's like a
for whatever
night
reason that was
thing.
for whatever reason
Yeah.
that was changed, even though that's not what it is in real life, right? It's still it's SIR, right,
I
sir?
don't know. I know in Westeros generally it's like SEI. I don't know if it
Yeah,
is in real
that
life,
that was
but
throwing me off for a while because I was like, so is that like a name? Is that but it's like
yeah,
a
no,
title.
it's
So it is
yeah.
just sir. Like when you say, Sir Patrick Stewart, it's it's a
It's
knighted
that
person
sir.
as a
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Dunk is burying someone, and this is kind of the first big spoiler. Is like it's not a spoiler, but it's kind of a spoiler for later. Is like he's not actually knighted. I think it's kind of heavily implying that Arlen, Sir Arlen of Pennyworth or whatever, doesn't actually knight him. And he's kind of lying about that because I know that's like ambiguous in the book. That's one thing I do know about the book from what I've heard is that it's pretty ambiguous on whether he's kind of lying about it, maybe not. This one kind of straight up is just like, yeah, he didn't do that.
I don't think so. I mean, it's fairly
I do.
ambiguous as to whether he's actually knighted.
I think Dunk is. He's almost like kind of like when he grabs a sword, he's like, it fits my hand better than it ever fit his. Like he's almost it's not
Justifying it to himself.
he has an animosity almost to him, and of him being like deciding what he's gonna do next. Like where he's like, I could sell you and I'd be great for however long. Like a knight has a duty of some kind, so I would assume if he was actually knighted, and that's so to me. I don't know. To me, it did feel kind of like, and I don't. I am curious if someone has no context of the books of whether it's ambiguous or not, if it still comes off as ambiguous, but I do think this feels pretty much like he probably wasn't actually knighted.
That's fair.
And it kind of seems like this Arlen guy was really not all that. Like
Yeah, it seems like he was.
Dunk seems to have a far better idea of what he was than what he really was. Like of the kind of man he was than what he realized. There's that line. He says the line of he never beat me except when I deserved it, except that one time, where he didn't do it, and we get a great cutaway of him getting smacked in the head, multiple times. And he's like, what do I do with these horses? He grabs the sword. He's laying there basically contemplating the next morning, maybe a day after. I don't know exactly. I could bury your sword, but it just rusty or whatever. Again, kind of justifying like why I should keep the sword in this sense. And then we get so the music is building. Is that the Game of Thrones theme that was
Yeah, it was like
swelling?
the classic
Okay.
Game of Thrones theme.
Okay, music swelling, and I didn't know that again. I was kind of like, okay, we're gonna get the big title sequence of whatever, and then it just got immediately to Dunk taking a massive nasty shit, which is like, I was like, oh, I don't know that I need to see that, but
Yeah.
I do think I think there's some meta reason. What was your thought
Yeah.
on the
That
dump?
okay, I didn't love that in the context of like building up the show. I didn't love it. I understand the meta reason is probably, taking a big steamy shit on the end of Game of Thrones.
Was that your reading? Is that how you read into it? Was that
is what I think they were going for.
I don't think it was at all. I think that's a coincidence,
But in my opinion, it kind of feels like it came across just shitting on all of Game of Thrones because for me personally, whenever I hear that theme, I don't think of, season 7 and 8 like horrible garbage. I think of the start of the show with all the characters that like actually compelled me, all of the like incredible acting, the great action. I think of all the good stuff in the early parts. That theme doesn't make me think about the garbage. It makes me think about like all the good stuff of Game of Thrones. So it didn't hit, I feel, how it was supposed to hit.
Okay.
But
I have seen some people say like that was kind of their first thought. I disagree that's what it was doing. I think the whole point was like someone who has no context of the headline, someone who's just seen Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon,
mhm.
you're expecting this big epic story,
I
so you're
do
getting
also
the
think it
music
was
build
like
of
the
him like
general template. It was
yeah,
like
so
this is
it's
going to be a
built up, and
different.
you're like, and it's like, so in the moment, it's like he just drops something. It's like you're gonna roll the intro. It's gonna be the epic story, but what it really is, so it's like they're playing the big epic build up music. You're expecting a crazy build up hype story, and then it's like that's not actually this kind of character. This character is the guy who's going to take a shit by a tree. Like
Yeah.
that, he's a very low level character
And it
essentially.
gets to it
It's
later. He's
not going to
like
be this epic Game of Thrones story. That's
he
what that
says
was my read on
he'd
what that
rather
was.
sleep on the ground under the stars than in a tent. Like
Yes, that
he's
was my
poor
read
and
of what that was. They were building it up, like almost playing the audience of like you think it's going to be this big story, and then it's like actually it's not. It's a smaller story. This is the kind of story it is.
yeah.
That was my read of it. Also, this was again furthering what I think of like he wasn't knighted, as he said later. Was there a witness to the night? And he said it was the bird in the tree when he actually sees the bird in the tree when he's taking the dump. So
Yeah.
again, I feel like that's but it was just nasty. There was the nasty sound effect. It worked on me because I was expecting again, not knowing that was like the Game of Thrones theme. I was expecting a big cool cinematic like title sequence or something, and then it's just a dude taking a dump, and I was like, oh. So he takes his horses and he rides off. We get the little title sequence, which I didn't, I like the very simple title sequence
Mm-hmm.
as he heads towards this stable area, where he asks this boy, the stable boy, to watch his horses. Not actually the stable boy, it's Egg. Um, which there's a big twist with Egg. I know what the twist is. I don't really have the context of what any of it means.
If you've watched Game of Thrones,
Big spoiler,
you
by
will
the way.
also literally just from the name, you're gonna know who Egg is.
Yeah, big spoiler right now. Egg is a Targaryen, whatever that means. I recognize that name. I don't really know anything about the Targaryen. I don't know anything about that. Is that the House of the Dragon? Is that whole thing? They
Yes.
control the dragons. Am I right on that?
Yes, they ride the dragons.
Yes. So, but the dragons are gone now. Like,
Not in A Night of Seven Kingdoms.
I think they are because I think that's why the Targaryens show up because I believe they show up to the tournament as like they're establishing that they're still in charge.
Well, I think they still have dragons at this time, but they're smaller than ever and there's less than ever.
Okay. Again, I don't know. I literally
Either
don't know
that
anything.
or they've like
This takes place
I
about
think they
100
still have 'em.
or so years before Game of Thrones. And then I don't know how long House of the Dragon takes place before that, but
It's like hundreds or thousands. It's a while.
anyway, I know he's a Targaryen. I don't know at all what that means. Other than like I know they were like I guess they were the big dogs or something. Is Emilia Clarke? Does she play a Targaryen?
Yes.
Okay, so she's a Targaryen. That still doesn't really contextualize anything with me, but
You were right. All the dragons are dead by the time of the show.
okay, cool. So I know, because so my understanding is that this big tournament he's at or whatever, it's like not something a Targaryen would show up to, but I think they do show up in they'll show up like in the next episode or whatever, and it's like because they're gonna be there to establish, they gotta stay.
Still.
Is it so it's like a warring? I have no context of it. It's like a warring. Like the factions are fighting for control, kind of thing. Like when the Targaryens are.
No, the tournament it's just like
No. I'm not saying the tournament. I'm saying the context of the world, like the world. It's like the Targaryens are the leader. They're in power, but there's always people trying to claim the throne or whatever. That's the Game of Thrones.
sorta. So
I've seen Stranger Things.
Before the Game of Thrones, Robert Baratheon like leads a rebellion and takes over and becomes king, kills most of the Targaryens. There's a big war, and then for Game of Thrones at the start, Robert Baratheon is the king. The Baratheons are in charge. But yeah, in the next decade, the Targaryens are going to get deseated from power, essentially. So they're not
okay. But
now
it
that
is
the
like
dragons are gone, they're not as strong and like hard seated as they
okay,
used to.
but it is that of like they're in control, but like it's everyone's always trying to everyone's trying to claim the throne for themselves or whatever. So
yeah, Because a
That's
lot of the big families have at some point had someone on the throne, so they think they should be in charge or whatever.
yeah, okay. Okay. Anyway, Dunk meets this guy in the bar who is a random drunk guy. Um and I'm sure this won't come out of stock. Apparently that's gonna be important. Because no context, I was like, okay, that's a little weird. But
Yeah.
obviously, obviously, this is the same company that made Peacemaker, so I'll keep that in mind. Uh, likely setting something up. 99% likely setting something up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll save that 1% in case someone who worked on Peacemaker also got in here and was like, dude, what if we got a drunk dude in there?
What
Is
if
there gonna
there's
be a
just a
payoff?
drunk guy?
Is there gonna be a payoff? Absolutely not.
No, but it's a bar. There should be somebody drunk there.
Who's gonna say something super mysterious and then walk away? Anyway, Dunk, looks at that guy like, okay, that's a little weird. Walks out, and Egg is sitting on his horse wearing like chainmail and a helmet pretending to be a knight, which I thought that was good. It was like showing he's a boy. You know, he makes fun of Dunk for having a rope belt. He's like, you don't look like a knight. And Dunk is like, what do you mean by that? And he says, your belt's made of rope. And actually, until this point, I didn't even like. I knew he was named Dunk. What I knew it was Duncan the Tall. Like I knew that was the general name, but he didn't really come off as tall yet. It's not until he showed up later that I was kind of like, oh wait, he's actually like tall. Like it's
Yeah,
like
because he's by himself for a while, and then
we're next to Egg, who's a child.
yeah, and then you see him next to the horses, and it's like
You still don't have good scale.
he's taller than the horses, but you aren't sure how big the horses are, so it's like I don't know how big he is. And then you see him next to like men, and you're like, oh shit, he's really big.
Well, even then, for me, I didn't even like really fully like. It was when he walks up. So he decides to go to. I believe it's Ashford is the place. The Ashford tournament. I don't really know what tournaments are, and I don't know enough about medieval stuff.
They
so, like,
joust and stuff like that.
I figured it was that, but I don't really know what the point of it is. Is more what I was saying.
Money,
Yeah.
and entertainment.
Yeah, essentially, he's got to like. But he decides to go to the tournament. Egg is like, "Yeah, bring me with you. I'll be your squire." He's like, "No." He says something, and he's like, "Let me listen real quick." Trying to find the exact thing he says to Egg here. It's there. It is. Hold on. I promise you're better off not squiring for the likes of me. So he obviously is saying like he's not exactly like he's not a top dog. He's a hedge knight.
He's a hedge
is
knight.
obviously the thing. But yeah. So Egg wants to be a squire, and he says you're better off. They toss him a coin, and Egg's like, no. This is also where we get moments of like Egg. He's like answering questions in a way that would make Duncan think the answer he's saying, but he's not actually saying what Duncan thinks he's saying. So like when Duncan asks, so you're an orphan, and Egg doesn't actually say yes. He just says, are you? And he's like, yes. So now Dunk thinks, oh yes, the answer is yes, but Egg obviously didn't tell him that. Egg's being very clever, not actually giving him the answer that he's seeking, but enough context that he thinks he knows the answer. Anyway, they ride off. He rides off to Ashford alone, and he decides he needs to go enter the tournament. That was when I first was like, oh, he's actually tall. He walks up to the guards of the castle area, and it was like, he's just so much bigger than them. And then he walks in, and there's a guy. He hits his head, and there's a dude here. The guy taking the book note here, who's like writing. I don't know what his job is, but
he's in charge of the like booking people for the tournament, I guess, like checking people in, stuff like that. I suppose.
Yeah, and he asks him, he's like, "Are you knight?" And he's like, "Yes, I was knighted by Arlen of what's his face," and
the guy doesn't even know who he is.
He doesn't know who he is, but he served for someone who is there, whose name it's like Don Dorian or something.
Yeah, something like that. Basically, if he can get that guy to say he knows who his master was, then he can get into the tournament.
And so that's what he's essentially going to set out to do. There's a joke here about the Ashford chair, which is that he's going to get locked up and then lowered onto a spike on his butt. And then the guy's like, no, I'm trolling. That's not real. And then Dunk he's all messy. He's got flies buzzing around him. And the guy dude tells him to leave his escorts outside next time, which I think was a joke about the flies, unless I missed something else. But I
I
think that was a joke
think so.
about him
Yeah.
bringing flies into the room with him. Dunk walking out hits his head again, and he goes to go talk to Lord what's his face and Don Dorian, and talks to some prostitutes outside who call him sad, and he's like gets all offended there. He's like, I'm not sure what
I'm
that's
not sad.
about.
Being a head knight's noble. It's not just because I'm broken poor.
Yeah, but he's and he doesn't even know. He doesn't really understand what they mean. Like he just doesn't have the context to it. Talks to the prostitutes, and then he goes back to his horses. That's where he talks about being sad, and he has a run in with this other guy, this knight who's beating up his cousin. Um, which
I'm guessing that guy, I don't even remember his name. I'm guessing he's either going to be like the first or second person Dunk fights in the tournament. Um, I
yeah,
think that'll be like his first big win will be against that guy. Um, but yeah, I think that's where Dunk will get like. But also the thing is, for the tournament, um, if you beat someone, you get their horse and their armor and whatever like coin
well,
they
you hold
bet.
it for ransom essentially.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, Dunk isn't. He's gonna have to beat somebody pretty physically large to be able to actually use their armor because it's not like if he beat that guy, he's gonna be cooked. He's gonna have to sell stuff to be able to buy armor, essentially. Or what I'm assuming is gonna happen, he's probably gonna sell. He have to sell 2 of the horses so that he can buy armor if that will actually fit him. Because he's too big to just use someone else's armor.
Yep. Um. Anyway, he goes and he takes a bath in the river. Cleans his clothes off, and then he goes back, talks to the prostitute some more. And I guess I don't know if they're I don't know if they're all gingers or if they're getting their hair dyed. I can't tell. I was very confused by what was happening there. But
I don't know.
uh,
I'm assuming the guy that they're all banging likes redheads.
well, that's
Um,
implied. He says he's gonna
so
turn the
so
whole country red or whatever.
yeah, so I believe he's a redhead, so I think they probably dye their hair if they aren't already redheads. And then I'm guessing he's into some weird kinky stuff because they were having the one prostitute
Pretend to
like
be dead.
pretend
Yeah.
to be dead. So I'm guessing he's not gonna be a good guy in this story, based on
Well,
that
again, I don't know how many are.
and his
I think
personality.
Dunk is like a unique person in a George R. R. Martin kind of story.
Yeah,
Um, and this is again where we get Dunk, who's genuinely like they're like laughing at him. He's just like, you don't need to be mean.
yeah. It was like, why are you guys being mean to me?
Like he can't understand why. It's that's where I was kind. That's where you start to like him. He's like, I don't. You can't understand why someone would be mean to why someone would be mean to him, for just asking a question. And
Mm-hmm.
he goes watches this show. They got big budget, I guess. They got here, and someone comes out and breathes fire. It's ran by this woman who I'm guessing is going to be like a love interest, maybe. That's kind of feels like what they were setting up there.
Yeah.
And then Dunk gets invited by homie's cousin from earlier, and he's like, "Are you hungry?" Dunk's always hungry, is what he says. And we get a feast.
Boom!
George R. R. Martin would be pleased.
George involved.
Um, this is the feast of Lionel Baratheon, I think is his name.
Yeah, Lionel Baratheon.
Yes, and He's got antlers on his head as a
Mm-hmm.
crown. Not he
Yeah,
doesn't have antlers.
yeah.
Um,
Their house is the stag, so that's why they have all
okay,
the antler
cool.
stuff and all the
And
deer
Dunk eats a
theme.
bunch, and he walks up to Baratheon to like please him or whatever. Well, okay, that sounds a little weird, but you know what I'm saying.
Whoa,
And then
hey yo!
and Baratheon's like, what did you bring me? And he's like, I didn't bring you anything. And Baratheon says like, there's two kinds of people who come for help or people who come for your help or your head. So why are you here then? And he's like, supper.
Food.
which I like that line. He's like, supper. That's why I'm here. And Baratheon laughs, and then they start dancing, and we get this kind of interesting thing where Baratheon's trying to stomp on Duncan's foot. Showing off the footwork. Dunk's, he might be a big guy, but he's got
Yeah,
some
I think
he's a little agile.
I think he was just testing how quick he was.
Yeah.
And I think these two are going to develop a bit of a friendship throughout the show. Um,
I think it
I don't
also
know that
so I
it'll
think this
end
served
well per se, but I think they'll develop a bit of a
I think this
friendship.
kind of served as a way of like helping Duncan get what's on the page in the book that's in his head. It gives him a way to like for them to vocalize it in the show, essentially put it into dialogue.
Yeah.
I think that's what this. I think that's what this was because I don't think this scene's in the book. He then sees Don Dorian. I'm just gonna keep saying that, whether that's actually the guy's name or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names I can't remember. He's out. He's back. He's
He's
back with his.
Cassian Andor.
What? No. All right.
That's my bad.
You can't. We can't mix that
He's
many.
from
names,
Andor.
right? I haven't seen Andor. I haven't.
He's from Andor. That's
That guy's an Andor.
no, the guy, that's
What?
where that's the location that he's from. I believe that's what they said in the
This
show.
guy's making stuff up.
All right, bro. Whatever. Anyway, he talks to the guy that he knows should know his night.
For
and
whatever reason, he
basically
thinks
just shrugs him off.
Arlen. He thinks he's gonna know Arlen because he served for him for something, and the dude's like, "We forgot people who suffered far more than a wound."
Yeah.
And he walks away. So now Dunk doesn't have. He needs to bring a witness essentially by tomorrow. That's kind of the general. That's like the general thing is he needs to have someone who can confirm he's a knight by tomorrow, and then Dunk returns to his camp to see Egg cooking a fish. And there's some good dialogue here, and they essentially decide. And Dunk gets his name. He says, "Dunk's a stupid name. Is short for like Duncan." And Dunk is like, "Yes, it is.
Yes, it is short for. Dunk.
That was a line I forgot to mention. Freddie from The Gentleman tells Dunk, he's like, you're tall. You have to be tall. Stop slouching. You're hiding.
Mm-hmm.
You're hiding who you are. So if you're gonna actually be tall, stand tall. So when he says he's Sir Duncan the Tall, he raises his shoulders, lifts his head, he stops slouching. And then they talk about the stars. They see a shooting star or a falling star, I guess. And X is like, that luck is, it's our everyone else is sleeping in a tent, and then Duncan is like, shut up, go to sleep. And then he thinks about it for a second. And he's like, so that means we're the only ones who got good luck, right? Kind of reassuring himself. And that is episode 1 of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. A lot of setup, some character establishing, nothing too deep so far, but like I said, I got to the end of it. I was like, all right, not bad. I'm
excited for the next episode. If there's one thing Game of Thrones consistently does well, it's good fights. So I'm expecting some good action in the show. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm glad to actually have a show that I'm so far enjoying watching. And yeah.
Okay, you said that there was a couple things that you were like, what? So what were those?
Well, okay, the taking a dump thing, I don't like when. Okay, this isn't 100% true. Meta stuff isn't my favorite. Sometimes it's funny, like in Community when they had the really bad season and they came back and they're like, man, when we had that gas leak and we were all acting weird.
Dude, you mean like when episode 9 of Stranger Things comes out, like that kind of meta thing?
I don't like that kind of meta. I don't like.
Well,
I generally
you haven't
don't
even
like meta
seen
stuff.
Conformity yet.
And I think the symbolism of that they were probably going for of like, this isn't a normal Game of Thrones. I get it, but meta stuff just isn't my favorite most of the time. Especially in more serious stuff. I don't.
Well, this isn't that serious. So there's a lot of humor. There's a good.
There's humor, but it's a show that actually takes itself seriously, or at least it should. But you know what I mean. Like Community isn't like a serious show. It's a goofy sitcom. But I don't know. I don't love meta stuff like that. I think a little more could have happened, but all in all, I think it was a good first episode. There wasn't a lot to dislike.
So it's just the dump. That was the only thing.
It was really. I just didn't like that. I was like, I know that was George. Like, I know George was like, have him take a shit. It'll be fun. Like that kind of.
I don't know
stuff.
that was George. That involves losing food.
That's true. That's a good point. That's true. But it just felt like a very. We gotta let him know this is a Westeros thing. It's not gonna be some big happy good time.
Well, I feel like it did the opposite.
I feel like it, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm being very picky because there's not a lot to be picky about. That's the closest thing to a real problem I have with the show.
Okay. So Jake is not a big fan of bodily functions. Um, therefore, you should not watch the show. Go watch Peacemaker instead. Right?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I think George R. R. Martin's a big fan of Peacemaker. There is an orgy in that one.
True.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I think probably maybe should have gone more than just one episode or just drop the whole thing. It's only 6 episodes. At the end, I'm curious to be like, they should have made that a movie. I'll see if that happens or what. But yeah, I mean, I know things based off just names. I don't know the context of the names. I don't know how this show's gonna perform. I guess it was pretty watched. I think I saw a thing saying it was like the 5th most viewed show. I don't know if that's of the year, because it's not like there's a lot of competition if that's for the year. It's January.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but Game of Thrones obviously was very popular. People felt burnt by it. I know people have liked House of the Dragon so far for the most part. And then, if it's a unique story is all I know. And I know that Duncan there's a line about Duncan
In Game of Thrones, yeah.
in Game of Thrones, right?
It's a pretty quick. It's just like they're going through a book of knights, and Joffrey's like 4 pages for Duncan the Tall.
Yeah. So, there's that. There's a little bit of context. You can obviously know some stuff based off of that. Yeah, I don't know, because it's obviously not going to be like a super political drama or something like that. Like there's stuff of that in Game of Thrones. It's going to be a story about a hedge knight becoming a real knight, becoming a hero. So
Yeah, I also
that's what I like about it.
I
That's what I'm
did
looking
I
forward
did
to
also like how like he showed literally zero like cunning in maneuvering or sly talk, stuff like that. Like he literally had zero.
He's a big oof.
Like zero
Oof.
like that. He's a very genuine, like he's just gonna say he's just like a genuine person. He's not like a sly, sneaky political maneuvery guy. He's just a big little hedge knight.
He's politically maneuvering the whole time, and he's just so good
Wanted
at
to
it.
make you think he's genuine, but he's actually evil.
How else is he gonna have more feasts?
And feasts. Broke people can't have feasts.
And I think instead of trying to, so as my understanding, you could really do 3 seasons, get the 3 novellas out of the way. You'd have a pretty solid ending. Let's do that. Let's not try to write unfinished stories that George hasn't finished. That clearly has not gone well so far.
What?
It's not because he's not ever gonna finish it. All right, like let's be real. We all know he's not gonna finish it. Everybody knows he's not finishing it. He's gonna write 10 more stories. No, he's not. He's not gonna write it. I'm gonna be kind of shocked.
Books.
I'd be kind of shocked if he even publishes another book before he dies.
I would. I think there's a very high chance he'll publish at least 1 or 2 more Westeros lore books, but nothing actually related to like the stories we care about. It'll just be Westeros lore books because that's all that he's capable of making currently. Just like, this happened. This thing happened, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm just gonna assume that nothing he's ever gonna do will get finished. Yeah. So I mean, we'll be back next week and also tomorrow. The Pendragon cycle releases on however you want to find out how to watch it. Technically, I think it's on Daily Wire Plus, but if you don't want to give them the money,
I don't know
who's gonna.
I don't know. I like to go out on a boat sometimes. Who knows?
You wouldn't download a car. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't steal it. You wouldn't download a car. I'm just saying there's a chance I'll watch it. Also a chance I might not subscribe to Daily Wire Plus. Those are 2 completely different things. The chance that I don't watch
unrelated.
The chance that I don't watch it could have no correlation with also that, the percentage chance I don't watch it also could very heavily correlate with the percentage chance I don't pay for Daily Wire Plus. Just because I'm saying I'll probably watch it and then I also probably won't pay for Daily Wire Plus doesn't mean those 2 things are connected at all.
There's no correlation, zero correlation
which
at
so
all.
double fantasy series. Whether we might save to talk about it. We'll see. Kind of is going to depend on what happens. I think in episode 2 of Night Seven Kingdoms, that's going to be the priority.
Mm.
I'll probably be watching Pendragon. I don't know if this is a full series release or if they're doing weekly. I don't know, and I don't even know if it's going to be any good. If I watch first episode, and I'm like, then I probably just won't finish it.
Yeah, most
so.
likely.
We shall see.
Because
but
if I have to go out on the boat every week, then it's kind
yeah,
of
you don't want to just go out on the boat every week.
If you go boating every weekend, you get tired of boating.
Exactly.
Plus, I already got a boat for a lot of the other stuff I watch. So,
yeah. I don't know if any movies. When does this Project Hail Mary come out?
ooh, that is
I think that might be March.
sort of soon.
Let me see. When does this release? This is the movie. Yeah, March 20th. That might be the first real movie we actually watched that we're going to talk about. It'll just be series until then.
Will.
I do believe we have. We actually might have to put Night of Seven Kingdoms on hold because we might have something else that releases. Let me double check. Yes. So we will probably not actually talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms episode 2 because we have 8 episodes of Wonder Man releasing on the 27th, which will be. Oh wait, no. Is that? Hold on. I am
That's
trying
next
to do math.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So we won't probably talk about all 8 by Wednesday, but we'll at least talk a little bit about Wonder Man.
Wait, do they drop all 8 at once?
Yes. They're very confident in it. They're very confident in it. So
that's
Wonder Man will probably take priority. We might actually. So what we might do, just because there's no way we're gonna watch all 8 by Wednesday, we'll probably do Night of Seven Kingdoms episode 2 next week. Maybe Pendragon episode 1. We'll see. And then the week after that will be all Wonder Man. Just a full review of Wonder Man, and then
if we have time, we'll fit in episode 3.
Yeah, we'll see. Otherwise, we'll talk about that all.
It also depends. If episode 3 is like phenomenal, I'd rather talk about that than all of the garbage that is most.
Yeah, but if we wait too long, Wonder Man's just gonna be like Wonder Man. That thing's got maximum 3 days, so we'll already be super late to it by the time we cover it.
I mean, honestly, it comes out Tuesday. Our episodes are Wednesdays. We might be too late by then.
That's fair. So yeah, we'll see. We're gonna have to decide, but yeah, this last week's and this week should be on Spotify at some point if I can get freaking Spotify to work. We'll see. You can check out all those links. Jake allegedly has a video coming out at some point. He doesn't, but allegedly he does. In case you forgot, Avatar came out. Made $1 billion.
There's a lot of buzz for the $1 billion movie.
A lot of talk about Avatar.
I haven't seen anyone talk about it since.
I have. I've seen everyone talk about it. Everyone talked about the story and how the blue people are trying to get. They're trying. Well, basically, the humans are bad.
True. Compelling. Compelling.
Yes. James Cameron said he has to make them cheaper if he wants to make 4 and 5, which how could that be true? He makes $3 trillion every time he makes the movie. It's because he makes. Maybe it's because he makes almost all of it in China, which they could keep like 10% of. I don't know. It's just a little theory or something. Just a theory, a film theory.
Theory.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I think you should check out Night of Seven Kingdoms. I don't think you're gonna get burnt with a Game of Thrones season 8 ending. I think it's gonna be a very simple, self-contained story. Yeah. And yeah, check out all the links. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to, and you can check out the audio platforms as well. And we will catch you all next week to potentially talk about Wonder Man.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.